back to Channel Pushrodders and a rather cold little workshop. So as the title suggests, what is the best car to buy? Now I've had that question put to me a few times over the last about a month or so by customers. They're in the market to buy a car, and my response is well, I don't know your budget, I don't know your circumstance, as in needs, and how long's a bit of string. And to that I get silence. So, and then start, going through all the different scenarios and all that sort of stuff. So, I've got on my little list off camera here. What do we got? We've got about 6 different things. Look, we're only scratching the surface, but at least it gives you, the viewer, prospective car buyer, something to, have in the back of your mind. Yeah. So number one is budget. How much do you want to spend? Because that's going to dictate what sort of car you buy, make, model, features, all that sort of deal. And yeah. And number two is, look, number one, number two, they're probably the most important on the list. But yeah, look, number two, what do you need in a car? There's no good having, say, a family of 6 with, with a newborn baby and all the rest of it, and you've only got a little 2-door hatchback. You're trying to carry the pram and all the associated luggage, and it doesn't fit half the family and all the rest of it. But on the same token, you've got, say, just yourself commuting to and from work, and a big massive vehicle where you're paying a crap ton of money on fuel each week. And you're like, it's the same with tradies. Are you going to tow? Do you need a ute to carry tools, whatever, supplies, timber, electrical stuff, like myself, mechanic, toolboxes. And then you've also got the performance guys, and girls for that matter. How fast do you want to go? Do you want a turbocharged car, a supercharged car, or an actually aspirated one? 2-door, 4-door, V8, 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder. You get the gist. So number three, what have I got here? Look, number three is related to number one. Is, can you check over the car yourself? I.e., do the mechanical check over. Everyone can go for a test drive and all that sort of stuff, and sort of pop their head under the bonnet and go, yep, there's an engine there and that sort of thing. But can you physically check over the car? Or do you need someone like myself to go out and do a pre-sale check? Now let's say I go out to a vehicle, and you've got 5 on your list, and you want me to check over all 5. Well, there's $200 per vehicle. Let's say there's $1,000 gone out of your budget. So it's just, a little something to think about. Alrighty, number 4. So when you're researching the particular vehicle or vehicles you would like to buy and that suit your needs and all that sort of stuff, have a look at what are the common faults with the vehicle. After so many Ks, does it need timing chains and guides, or does it need a water pump? Does it need, some sensor doing, or whatever it may be? Look, it might work out that particular make and model you're looking at has been superseded, i.e. they're halfway through the model year or model run, they've upgraded that particular part. Look, you might end up paying an extra $500 for the car, but on the same token, if you've got to, say, a month or two later after buying the car, you've got to shell out $1,000, a couple of grand to, do all these little bits and pieces. What's more beneficial to your pocket? What else have I got here? And then also too, you've got the maintenance of the car as well. If you've got an exotic car, say like a Lambo or something like that, you're looking at more bespoke or filters and oil and all that sort of stuff are usually more expensive, and then the labor costs involved in it too to try and change oil filters, because let's face it, even supercars and even the modern little four-cylinder hatchback, the room they give you inside engine bays isn't really exactly like semi-trailer size. So, and also too, parts availability. Now this is sort of, your mechanic's going to look more into this than say you, but when I say parts availability, I'll give you a little story. I had a customer probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago now, with a little early 2000s Renault, and I called one of the Renault dealers, and what was needed was rear brake drums, rear brake shoes, and rear wheel cylinders, because the rear wheel cylinders was leaking, and the bonded brake shoe, the bonded material for the brake shoe, the linings, which is virtually a fancy name saying glued to the shoe, it just all disintegrated because it had that much brake fluid go over everything, and it pretty much locked up the back wheel. Anyway, the dealer said, no, we don't have any on shelf. We have to get hold of Renault over in France, head office or whatever it may be. It's more than likely going to be 5 to 6 months wait, because at that stage they had all the riots going over in France, and by the time I put my little bit on the parts, it was going to cost over $2,000 for rear brake parts. And I'm like, yep, no worries, thanks very much. So I started ringing around, and eventually I got hold of a place literally about 15-20 minutes here from HQ here. They had all the parts I needed on shelf, and with my little markup, I think it was only going to cost about $500 in brake parts, and I had them literally within a week. So it's stuff like that, especially if you're owning more exotic cars and some of the European cars. How much is your time worth? To have a car downtime, where are you walking, are you taking public transport, do you have to borrow a car? So it's all that sort of stuff you've got to think about too. And then on top of that, price, because some parts, I can tell you now, are pretty damn expensive. That even blows my mind, and I'm a mechanic and I do it 5-6 days a week. So number 5, the car's needs. Now, if you're buying a full drive and it's got the lift kit and all the gear on it, roof racks, can you park it under your carport? Can you get it into your garage? Is it too tall? It's one scenario you've got to think about. If you're buying a little 2-door hatchback, of course, it's going to do all that sort of thing. And then for those of you that are thinking you might like to buy an EV or a hybrid, when you go to recharge it, does your house electrics, can they keep up with the current draw and the amps and all the other stuff that goes on with charging a dirty great big battery in a car? Or is it going to keep popping fuses and all the rest of it, and you're going to have to keep going out to the meter box, flick the switch, or you can't run half your appliances while the car's being charged? So look, just another little avenue to think about. And I guess too, with EVs, what happens when the power goes out? What then? Do you have a generator, a backup generator to charge your car, petrol or diesel? Do you have a spare battery where you can take the charge from? Do you, it's all these little bits and pieces to think about. And number 6. Now, not all of us can afford a brand new car, but if you can, more power to you. When you go in, you're going to get the salesperson start throwing figures at you and, oh, we can do this, we can throw in that, and blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. Let's just say you put down your hard-earned, you put down your deposit because you're on finance, or maybe you brought the car outright. The dealer goes, yeah, no, we don't have the car on the lot. That was only a demo you just test drove. You won't be able to get your car for the next 5-6 months. Because there's a shortage, or it's still sitting on the docks, or it's on the boat coming, whatever it may be. What's your downtime worth? 30, 40, 80 bucks an hour, 100 bucks an hour. Even as like my wife, she's a homemaker. If you were to put her time into perspective, it's worth about $35, $40 an hour. By the time she, does all the running around and all the rest of it, if you had to pay someone, that'd be $30 to $45, 30, 35, 40 bucks an hour. So, it's little things too that you need to ask the salesman before, can we take it right now, or within a day or so, because they've got to pre-deliver the car and check over it before you receive it. Look, I hope this sort of helps. Gets the old grey matter going. I would strongly suggest number 1 and number 2, definitely work those out with your budget and writing a list of all your needs and wants too, because some of the wants may be, you've got a big family, you go on a road trip, maybe you want some in-car entertainment like the fold-down TV from the roof, or in the back seats, keep the kids happy. So yeah, look, like I said, hope this helps. Get out there, talk to your family, all the rest of it. What do they need too? Write your list down, all that sort of thing. And yeah, look, happy car hunting and buying for that matter. What are you waiting for? Go and get your hands dirty. We'll see you next video.